I'm Robin Robinson, and I'm a sales and marketing consultant specializing in small brands and small liquor brands. One of the pieces of advice that I give to my clients is you can either create a brand or you can push a product. And these are two different things. Considering the fact that we work in a three-tier system where the consumer is really, from a sales perspective, the last person in the line. You have to actually get it through the front too, the distributor, and then the retail and trade set as well. And one of the most critical things about that is how you present your product so that it's not just a product. And what I mean by that is that a brand is a long-term commitment. And one of the long-term commitments that you should be serious about thinking about is that you're going to deficit spend for about 3 years in order to get this happening. And here's why. Consider the amount of products that are on any shelf, whether it's whiskey or white goods or tequila or whatever that may be. An enormous amount of competition out there. Okay? How does your brand stand out from everyone else? Well, one of the reasons is you or your associates or the agents that represent you. People still like to buy from people that they like. And that's a critical part of any sales, right? And it's not about just getting the placement on the shelf or behind the bar, but it's what you do after that. Now, distribution for the past 25, 30, 40 years has been working on a paradigm that doesn't fit any longer. And that paradigm is to do a wide 3-bottle distribution and 250 points of sale or points of distribution. And then, okay, now here, you're the brand, go ahead and take care of it. Now, if you're a 1 or 2 man shop and you've got limited resources, you can't do that. It's impossible to support them. And now we're talking about product placement versus brand building. This is what it kind of all comes back into. I can place 250 PODs out there. Yeah, no problem. My distributor does that for me. But I've got to support them. I've got to support that. I actually not only have to pull through that, but I've got to enlist the agency of everyone who's involved in that, which means I need to get the bartenders on my side. I need to get the retailers, all the people who are in the retail shop on my side. I have to effectively make them my brand ambassadors because they're the ones who are right there at the point of sale. And you don't do that by hit and run. You don't do that by placing a product and then taking off somewhere for another hit. You have to go back over and over and over and over again. So one of the key strategies of that is actually working with a key account list. There's a lot of different ways to put this together. Sometimes you can enlist your distributor to do this. Sometimes it's just really legwork on your part. But you want to find the areas where your particular product is going to do best. It's what we call a warm sale, where other products like yours are actually being sold. Okay? That means that you've got the knowledge inside of the store or the bar, and they've got the clientele to support it. And you going back over and over and over again after the sale. Now, don't think you're going to go in there and swipe or we're going to do a spend here, okay? Because Beam Suntory's got you beat, okay? And you can't compete with those guys, right? How you compete is you go back over and over again and you spend time with the bartender. You buy one drink, you sit and talk with other people. You educate them on things other than your product. So when I was out there with Compass Box, I'd talk about whiskey for 20 minutes and then talk about the product. By that time, I had pretty much established myself as, knowledgeable person that cared and really loved the entire category. So by the time I said the words of my product, I had already made the sale. And when I go back in there to actually support it again, right, they know me as, oh, this is a guy that actually brings additional value, not just a guy that has a product in his hand. And that's the key. That's why I said before, people like to buy off of people that they like. So that whole idea of creating a brand is really based on that. right? A very limited amount of accounts that you're working with. Your ability to go back over and over there, make sure you're just, again, you have to know what are the rules and what are the rules and policies of the different place that you're at. For example, here's another one. You're in there doing a tasting. This is critical. You're in there doing a tasting in a retail store. Are you interacting with the staff? Right? Now, if the staff is allowed by their own store policy to taste it, are you tasting the staff on this? Are you interacting with them? Are you essentially selling them the product while you're selling it to the consumers who are coming in there? That's brand building. Because when you leave, they're your ambassadors. And if you're one or two man show, or shop like most small brands are, it may be a while before you come back in there, but you've left the halo. And the halo is really the most important thing. This also gets to the point when you start kind of moving out past your own designated sweet spot, geographic sweet spot. Now that's a thing we call own your own backyard, and that might be a different subject for a different day. But this is all about creating a brand that people identify you, they identify the people who are with you, and they identify it with that product. And people are just naturally inclined to do that. Here's another little tip. Americans love to join teams. They love to join teams. I mean, how many times do we brand ourselves with our local sports teams? This is almost part of the American psyche. What's your team? What's your brand team? And I'm not talking about handing out t-shirts either, or handing out hats and things like that. That may be part of it, but you're actually bringing them in. So there's almost a sort of a conspiracy of fellow travelers here in order to actually bring your brand out above everything else. Well, how do you do that? By passing knowledge on to people, by making sure you're communicating with them regularly, to make sure that they're getting some other value that you bring besides just what's inside the bottle. Maybe it's category value, something like that. That becomes part of teamwork. And then you can ask something of these people. Now you get the ask, because you've given everything, you've shown value, and now you can actually get the ask. Hey, do you mind if I actually move it from that shelf to that shelf? Hey, what's the possibility of us working out a cocktail made with this? Or how about better placement on the back bar? There are a lot of guys out there and a lot of women out there that have brands, and they've done it this way. And I think nowadays, here we are in 2019, this has become the standard approach for small brands to go out there. So I'm not doing anything, or I'm not saying anything that's actually brand new. You should be hearing this over and over and over again by veterans out in the field. So let me wish you an enormous amount of luck, and I hope to see you out there.